You know what it is. Man Manga here with that special YouTube video. He was talking about the good stuff. Oh yeah, that's right. That is right. Straight from the North Pole. We got a real dream manga haul here. Oh my god, I punched my camera. It doesn't work anymore. Know that it's because I'm so strong I can punch through metal. You know, it's a burden that it is. And move this stuff a little out of the way. Okay. I'm gonna break it too a little bit, I guess. Alright. They sent it to us in like these pallets, but like the problem was one of the pallets had like my address on it, so that's why I had to do it this way. So for Ipopo, I was missing, I had a little bit of a volume error, so I was missing a volume, so I just got this one reprinted. It had 2 volumes instead of the 3, so that's all fixed up. Nice bit thicker. I remember I was kind of confused why it was so thin, so I looked back into it and then I had figured it out from there. So that was good. And then we also have this stuff here. I'm just trying to get all organized a bit. Okay. That's gone. That's okay. Ah, beautiful. These turned out great. I'm assuming. It's hard to kind of get an idea of how they turn out until you kind of cut them, because like obviously they look a little weird, right? I guess my Sinbad logos have shifted to the right a bit too much, but that's okay. Anyways, yeah, so we got Sinbad here, and you can see that it turned out pretty good from where we're looking at there, but maybe the bottom is a little bit too long. Hard to say. That's kind of the annoying thing. Oh, you can see the print line right there. That's kind of the annoying thing with the cutting process is when you do it yourself, you have to make sure it's the correct height, both inside and outside. And so if they mess up on either the inside or the outside, or if you do, then of course, you know, it's not going to look quite right. Overall, though, I think that this is going to be pretty darn good. It's better, in my opinion, to cut off a piece of it, which is kind of what I like to do. Is plan to cut off a piece of it than not. But yeah, the idea really here is that it does have a little white gap here, and I'm going to try to make it look as long, pretty much right up to that white line. I don't know if you can see it in this blue one. Cut right there. So I'll show you guys that as well once we get to it. Just gonna show you, I showed you a few pages of everything, but I'm gonna show you all the covers and everything I got in just a second. Just let me just sort this out real quick. Okay, so let's show you a few of the covers. Again, this is the Poe. I showed you this one kind of last time. One of my favorite editions of Hajime no Ippo. I made the, I guess I should explain it again. It's been a while. I made the spines after getting some feedback from our Discord, and then I also had the backs based off of little panels from the volumes that it's taken from it, and I have art blown up from the volume as well. Reborn. This is actually the official volume cover for volume 18, as it was canceled in English. The back, I can't remember if the back was official or not as well, but I had to do a lot of work on the back. I had to kind of change how all this is to make it look better and more official. I forgot to grab Reborn, of course, but I really think Reborn turned out perfect. I mean, like, that's what Reborn. It's just what Reborn looks like in English. So, you know, this is pretty good. The inside of it, of course, looks equally decent in my opinion. So very happy with how this turned out. Of course, I have to give the pages a cut. I didn't get rid of the next chapter, little monikers down there, or anything like that. The Reborn scans are okay. They're not amazing. Of course, you can see how this is I'm gonna move my hand out of the way. This is translucent, transparent. It doesn't have like a white background right there, but over here it does. So, there are some things that are great, some things that are not. But I do have these little in-between pages in here, as well as these extras in the back. Their downside to these things is they're untranslated, of course, as I don't know Japanese. But I can, of course, always, anytime, take my phone, which I would do right now, but I'm using my phone to record my face, to scan this, and they can translate that through an app, which is usually a decent outcome. It's never perfect. I grabbed Gintama as well, and you can see the volume on the far left is the official volume. Why does it keep focusing on my hands? Let's do a not focus on my hands game. So the volume on the left is the, like I was saying, the official volume. The one in the middle is last time, and the one on the right is today. I just pulled this one out of the box. So yeah, you can see that maybe I should make these number a little bit bigger, a little bit more bold. Overall, though, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, you probably wouldn't be able to tell it's a fake volume if you just saw it on the shelf. Maybe you could. Obviously, once I cut over here on these purple spots, you can kind of see where I'm planning to cut it, and I made it darker down here just in case the cut isn't like entirely perfect, but I think it should be pretty close, since if you open it up you can kind of see where I'm planning to cut there as well. The issue with Gintama is the scans totally suck. I am happy I've got these nice paragraphs of Japanese text I can translate with my phone. They're extras from the author as he was writing the volume extras. But the downside is, of course, that the scans are just absolute trash for Gintama. No matter where you go, there's just not good scans. So most people tend to just say, just watch it. It's just as good to watch it. But obviously, Gintama, I think it's a manga, right? So you're almost always better off to read the manga. The downside with reading Gintama is it's a ton of words. So I do think that Gintama is probably better of a read, but you just have to be willing to read it. And again, since the scans are so bad, I'm sure most people aren't willing to read it. So I'm looking forward to having to read it. You can see here my side-by-side. The one on the right is the one I did maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And you can see the differences, of course. This one is more proportioned because I don't have it quite as stretched up vertically. Like this one is more of the regular size. And you can tell that it doesn't have an ISBN in a really weird spot. I actually didn't put one at all, which I probably should have, but whatever. I did use cream on this one just because I felt like it would make the older print not stand out quite as much, and it is something I kind of wish I did again, just because it makes it fit in a little bit more with the older volumes too. So maybe I'll go back to cream, but the older volumes, mine are pretty white. But most of the older volumes are probably not going to be white as my guess. But mine are pretty white since I do take pretty good care of my books. I don't have them anywhere near direct sunlight or anything like that. Really kind of an a-hole. A book perfectionist, I guess. Beat is next. I've got 14 and 15 here. Again, these are the ones that I recently made. I do wish I made this side red, but that's okay. I'll probably never notice that, right? You can see the sides here, the spines look pretty good. They're not perfect, these little pictures here. I did use the spine photos that I could find, which weren't perfect, obviously, but they should do the job, and did in volume 13 as well. I'm also surprised that the logo looks a little bit blurrier on 15-14, despite using the exact same spine. I actually copied the beat spine from volume 13, so it should be identical, but for some reason it's not. Whatever. Anyways, I guess it just depends on which printer you get. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But I actually I live in Massachusetts, so the printer came from Agawam each time. No matter when I ordered, it always comes from Agawam. So maybe it is the actual printer that matters. I'm not sure if the facilities are different or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, these look pretty much as the spines look as close to original as you could possibly get. Again, the covers, once I cut them like I did this one, it's gonna be like totally impossible to tell the difference. So that'd be great. And again, the backs, completely custom made. So, you know, they take a bit of work to do, but they should, ideally anyways, look pretty similar to volume 12, as you can see volume 13 does after I cut it. I did use a darker outline here on the shonenjump.com because I felt like that looked better. And the barcodes for the newer ones, I decided to make it look more like this one. So I actually went to an ISBN website and typed in the Japanese ISBN to put it in there. And I think that worked out pretty good. Yeah, again, all the tags are here, so all ages, left to right, left to right. And yeah, it should read pretty much the same. I did have to change the backs, so you see how there's this guy here. In Japan, they have these backs. And I guess I could have just kept going with like random art that I found online, but I decided to use the actual official backs. Inside, it looks pretty good. The beat scans are not bad. I mean, I wouldn't say that they're the best scans I've ever seen in my life, but they are, you know, far from poor or anything like that. So everything looks pretty good here. I think the bleed I have set up is pretty decent too, so not too much gets lost in the spine. Beat has an interesting kind of a appearance to it. A lot of it is kind of like squared off by white space. You can see here in a spread that it doesn't, not all the pages are like that, but a grand majority of them are. But yeah, Beat is one of those series that is by the creators of Dragon Quest Adventure Die, so I was very excited to get into the series, but then they just like totally vanished, you know, like the Avatar. And now they're back at it again, which is great. Next and last, this was the main project, the main reason of the season. It's Sinbad. So the Adventures of Sinbad. I am planning to have a little bit of a white space here, as you can see from volume 1. But not a ton. And so that's what volume 2 looks like next to volume 1. Volume 1, of course, being on the bottom. And Magi, this is the last volume. So Magi doesn't have the same kind of a style as Adventures of Sinbad, and I did base the print more off of the Italian style. So I have the Magi Japanese character instead of the Magi in the bold. And I felt like that was more appropriate because Magi in bold is going to take more space, and the story is really Adventure of Sinbad in the Magi universe. And also, this logo seems to be pretty much everywhere on all the other translations, so I felt like that made sense. The other thing I did is I have the back be pretty similar as well. So I have this similar kind of cross here, but instead of it being a diamond, Sinbad has this like star thing on like all the volumes. So that's what I went with for Sinbad. Again, I've got the same age, blah, 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 blah. I don't have this. Oh, I should have put that in there. My one regret of Magi is I didn't put the epic final volume with a sword. Ugh. I didn't check the Magi one to see if it had something like that. Oh well. Anyway, so yeah, you can see how the front and the backs look here. They look pretty good in my opinion. I did make the number thing a little translucent here, which is, in my opinion, just a personal choice. I don't think it really matters one way or the other. I did improve and make the size a little bigger in the thumbnail for the character profile here. And I think that makes it line up a little bit better. Probably will line up something like this, if you can see that. I'm sure I've been messing that up quite a few times. But the first one I noticed was a little bit smaller, so that's why I made it a bit bigger. Again, the S, I think I could have shifted a little bit to the left a bit, but you know, it's one of those printer error things where, again, the depends on how you print it. They'll print a little too far to the right, too far to the left. So you can see it kind of bleeds over to the back a bit here. So if somebody prints the same copy, it may turn out perfect, it may not. I use the black rectangle viz there. Just personal choice. Nothing that really means anything one way or the other. So here's a few Sinbad volumes, so you can get an idea. If anybody is a fan of Sinbad or Magi, I'm reading it right now, and I'm really liking it. I think it's great. But yeah, this is what it all looks like here. The whites looked white on my computer, but I guess they weren't all white. At least not 100%. But they look pretty white to me. Oh well. Sometimes that's the monitor, sometimes that's just the printer. It's hard to know what went wrong, but if it's like that, it probably was my monitor just thought I was more white than it really is. You know, and again here we have the same kind of a thing. Wow, I really have quite a few of those whites. Hopefully when I cut off this white area, it'll be a lot less obvious, but maybe not. And again, you can see the fronts here. So when we're reading Sinbad for book club right now, because I don't know if I said I was reading for book club, but I'm reading it for book club. There's like a lot of details that they just totally skip out on. And I'm like, man, you're not going to talk about this stuff at all? This is all just for Sinbad? And like so far, you know, it is. It is just all for Sinbad, and none of it is actually popping up. And I like can't believe it. I'm like, wow. So we don't get the origin of like Jafar, who's like, you know, one of the main bad guys right now. You don't get the main origin of like anything. You just get to follow Aladdin. And I was like, whoa, this is wild. I can't believe you don't get these origin stories. And this guy, I think his name is Barbosa. He seems wicked funny. Just, I haven't, like I said, read this one yet, because I was waiting for it to come in, obviously. But, like, just from what I've been scanning through to get, like, these pictures and everything, he seems hilarious. Again, these pictures are from the Japanese backs, for the most part. Some of them are from the Italian one, or Spanish, because I couldn't find the Japanese one. But these should look pretty good. Most of them are fine, but some of them I did have to take from a smaller picture, like an eBay listing, which totally stunk. I like this one. That one I think has really good colors. And this is another one I think has really good colors as well. I think that the colors I've chosen for this are like, I think they're great. That looks awesome to me. Maybe not to everybody, but you know, colors are subjective, usually. Luckily, you can't say I'm wrong about colors, because everybody's entitled to their own color opinion. And this is a much shorter series. I don't know why it didn't take off quite as well as Magi. Again, a lot of story elements are not told in Magi. And they say, you know, read... They don't say read Sinbad, because back then there was no Sinbad, but now they say read Sinbad, and it's figured out all there. So yeah, that's what Sinbad looks like here, all the volumes. Again, I'm really excited to read this because I'm very much so enjoying Magi, and a lot of characters, of course, get their origin story from Sinbad, or like you can see this character here is a big important character in Magi as well. I'm like 20 volumes in. So yeah, this is great. I'm super excited to read more about these characters. I was super upset when I found out that they're not like expanded upon, I guess is the way to say it, right? Like you don't get to see the whole story. But I am really happy that there is a story for them, because again, I can't believe they don't tell you what goes on until you read it. But ooh, I think that these turned out great. Oh my god, that looks so good. I based this sword down here based off the lamp that they have on Magi. Again, you know, not quite as elegant as a lamp, but it does look pretty good in my opinion. You know, because how often do you have a sword smoking? Well, if you have Jimmy Clip, it definitely could. Alibaba's sword fucking smokes, alright? So, we're good there, in my opinion. But yeah, I can't wait to figure out why Alibaba's got this... Alibaba, oh my gosh, everybody but the main guy I want to talk about. Why Sinbad has this like light and dark. I think that that's probably going to be expanded upon in Magi. I can't imagine that they don't mention that, but they might not. Well, I don't know. So yeah, I'm excited to know more about Sinbad and these other characters in Magi. I really hope that they all get fleshed out, as far as they deserve to. I probably won't post a video of me cutting the books. Maybe I will. But I will definitely post at least a picture of me with the final product of the books. So thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you're interested in these things, let me know down below. Or rather, shoot me an email or message me on Instagram. Don't let me know down below. Unless you want to just help with the algorithm. That's cool too. But I'll be happy to help you out, point you in the right direction for making something like this. Again, most people really like the the EPO stuff. So, this is a hardcover. Again, you can pick if it's hardcover or not. This is an expanded upon volume, so it's not quite as small as like a junk volume. It's actually more like a Viz Sig size or a little bigger. So yeah, that's that. We will talk to you guys next time where I've got a more traditional manga haul. I know this is not everybody's cup of tea, but they actually tend to be the more popular videos. So have a good rest of the day, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.